Hey everybody, it's Karen with Food and Family, and today I want to show you what I'm calling Cinnamon Apple Roll Biscuits. They're delicious. You know, it's that time of the year. It is fall. Papa and I recently went up to Blue Ridge, Georgia and LOJ and spent the weekend and just had so much fun. And there were loads of apples up there, so I've gotten in the apple mode. I still need to show you some pictures from there, and but I'll get to that one day. But I'm going to start out with 2 cups of self-rising flour. Okay, so I've got 2 cups of my self-rising flour. I'm going to put just a pinch of salt. I don't want much, just a little pinch. I'm just pinching it with my fingers. And then I want to add 1 teaspoon of active yeast. I don't know, just something about it when I add it to it. Now, we're not going to be letting this sitting and rising or anything like you would breads, but I just like to add the yeast in there. And then I want 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And we just want a little bit of sweetness. We don't want these overly sweet. And I'm just going to measure right out of my canister here. I'm going to stir this around a little bit with my fork. Okay, now let's just get that all mixed up because you want it all distributed evenly. Okay, so now we want some shortening. You can use butter if you want to. I like to use shortening when I'm making biscuits or anything like that. I think it just makes them a little fluffier. And I'm going to put 2 good tablespoons worth. And, whoops. Now, and we're going to cut this in with our blending fork. Oh, you know, they're going to be so good. Wake up in the morning and smell these baking. You're going to have the family come running and getting up. Make some bacon or sausage to go with it. Put some scrambled eggs on the side and some orange juice. Maybe some sliced fruit. You're going to have a happy, happy group because these don't take long to put together. And you're going to have a happy, happy family. And you're going to have a full family because I bet you they won't leave any. You'll have to make another batch. Okay, so you want this shortening cut in like pea size. Y'all know what to do. And if you have, or if you haven't, go out and look for my orange roll biscuits. They're very much like that, except we're using apple. So y'all can watch that video, and if I don't forget, I'll link it down below. Okay, so to this, we're going to mix in our milk. Now, I've got a cup of milk measured here. I don't know that I'm going to use the full cup because you want a good stiff dough. And you don't want it wet. So let's start with that much. Hey, I did good. That's 3/4 cup because I measured out 1 cup. We're going to mix it up. If you get too much milk, just add you another splash of sprinkling. It won't take much of flour. And it'll all be good. So let's get this mixed up. Okay, this dough is coming together beautifully. Now, y'all, I did come back and I had to add about another tablespoon of milk. You may or may not. So it just depends. Sometimes I think it's just the time of, you know, the day. I kind of always say it's like the moon, you know. You can dig a hole one day and you've got enough dirt left over to fill it back up, and then there's some days that there's not enough dirt to fill up the hole you just took it out of. All right, so we've got our oven preheated to 425 degrees. Y'all may have just heard it beep. So I'm going to take some flour here and just put it out on my board. Spread it out real good because we are going to roll this dough out. And I want to have a good floured surface because I want to be able to move my dough around. I don't want it sticking. All right, so let me get rid of this. And we're going to just kind of knead this dough a few times around. We just want to get it soft and smooth and, you know, looking pretty. We want it to look its best. See how smooth it's gotten just these few times of kneading it? It's not like you're kneading bread and you've got to just continually knead it. And I want a little bit more flour on my board because we're going to start rolling it out. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. I want to get it into a rectangle. I want it like 12 by 8 rectangle. And so I want to kind of start with as much of a rectangle as I can, but we'll shape up the edges. Okay, so I'm going to flour my rolling pin, scoot all that aside, and let's start rolling it out. Now, I've got my ruler here with me, so I can measure it and make sure I've got it about right. Okay, so we've got this rolled out, and we're rolling it out. We're going to try to get it as close to a 12 by 8 as we can, and I want to keep it in this pretty rectangle shape. I want to get about 12 rolls. Now, let's measure it. It's just a tad over 12 by 8, but it will be good. Okay, so let's let that sit there a minute and get happy. So what I have done, oh, we can't forget this, y'all. We've got to start with this first. I've got butter. I have melted 2 tablespoons of butter. Y'all didn't think I was going to forget the butter, did you? Or leave butter out of the recipe? No. We're not done with butter, though. Let's spread it out. I've got my brush, and we're just going to brush it all over. And if you want to, you can use your hands and spread it out. And that will be yummy. Oh, I want to go as close to the edges as I can without it running over. Okay, so now to the best part. I've got some apple pie filling. And what I've done, I took my knife and ran through it. It was a canned pie filling. This is what I used. Apple pie filling and topping. If you've got homemade, by all means, use it. So I took my knife and ran through it and chopped it up. I don't know how well you can see. And I chopped it into smaller pieces. And then I took my blending fork and ran through it and kind of crushed them up a little bit more. And this is all I did. I did just like this. And I decided I wanted them a little smaller. But you don't want huge chunks because we're going to be rolling this up. And we're going to get all that delicious pie filling taste. Okay, so I've got that, but I want to spice it up a little bit. In fact, first, I decided I wanted to add just a little bit more sugar to this pie filling. So I'm going to try to eyeball about a tablespoon or so of sugar. You put however much you want. You can use just cinnamon here if you want to, but I'm going to use some apple pie spice. And I think I want to start with a half of a teaspoon. I don't want to get it over, that was heaping, that's why I put that back in there. I don't want to get it too overly spiced. You know, I want it just that perfect warmth of seasoning. but I think we're going to give this just a small taste and see if we need any more spice or sugar. Y'all, that was the perfect amount. That did it. Okay, so on top of this butter, let's spread this. Now, I didn't tell you, I showed you the can of apple pie filling I used. I didn't use the full can. I used half of a can because I'll probably have to come back and make another batch. Let me get rid of this. And just spread it out. If you don't want that much, don't put that much. I used about half a can. So, half a teaspoon of apple pie spice and about a tablespoon of sugar. Now, I am not rolling this all the way to the edge because I've got to have room to roll it up and pinch those edges together. Okay, so now I've got that. So let's start rolling. And I'm going to start at, move that so you can see. I'm going to start over here at this edge that's furthest away from me. And I am going to roll it up toward myself. Now, as I roll, I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to keep this dough tucked in because I want to keep it kind of tight because I want it to stay together. I don't know that you can see what I'm doing here. Let me just see if I can turn this a little bit. See, as I go, I'm tucking in with my thumb. So I'm going to roll and tuck. Roll and tuck. And we're just going to keep all that filling. And it might want to move on you. Mine is, and that's okay. Some of it's going to seep out. That is fine. If you tear a hole in it, like I just did, that is okay. Pinch it back together. Okay? So if it rolls out, if it comes out, the filling, don't worry about it. That's just, you can get your spoon and eat it. How about that? So, okay, so let's move it back here. So I am going to pinch these edges together. See, some of my filling is seeping out, but that's okay because it is going to bake around, it's going to bake up when I cut it. So let me wash my hands a little bit, y'all. Okay, so I have got a quarter sheet pan here. Now I'm going to spray it over the sink because I want these rolls to come out of the pan. So I'm going to sit it there, trying to move it around where you can see what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going to use my very sharp Rada knife, and I'm going to cut this dough in half. Let's kind of even up these edges. And if you've got, like I have here, more dough at the end, just kind of trim those edges off. They'll bake up and be very tasty. See, that one's got apple pie filling in it. We're going to cook him. So I'm going to cut it in half. Kind of sewing back and forth. You don't want to mash them, okay? And then I'm going to cut each half in half. And then I'm going to cut each one of them in thirds. We're going to get 12 rolls out of this. And we're going to bake them for 20 minutes or so. And we're not stopping there. We're going to put a glaze on them. And they're going to be so good. So I'm going to get these on the pan. Look at this roll, y'all. Can you see that? Look how delicious looking. Oh my. Now I'm going to put them on my pan. I'm going to put them 3 across, 4 down. They're going to rise up when they bake, and they're going to come together. And we're going to have one nice pan of cinnamon apple rolls. Look at that pan. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, we're going to bake this, like I said, for about 20 minutes or so. I want to make sure these are golden brown and that dough is done, and they're going to be so delicious. You know what? We're not going to forget this little buddy right here. Remember, I told you he had a little filling in him. He's going to be good. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what they look like, and we're going to make a glaze for them, okay? Y'all, our cinnamon apple roll biscuits are done. Now, I took them out of the oven and I set the pan on a wire rack to let them cool for a few minutes. Isn't that beautiful? And because I want to make a glaze to go on it. And I want the cinnamon rolls warm, but I want them cooled a little bit so all that glaze don't just run off. So they're still warm, they're just slightly cold. Anyway, let's make our glaze. Now, I want 1 cup of powdered sugar. 1 cup. Okay, I'm going to put just a tiny pinch of salt in here like I did with the biscuit part. Just the tiniest little pinch. You know, salt in sweets, it enhances the flavor, the sweetness, but it also kind of cuts some of the sweetness, if that makes any sense. I'm just going to run my whisk through here because I want to make sure that that powdered sugar doesn't have a lot of lumps, and this one doesn't. Have you ever opened up a bag or a box of powdered sugar and it just be lumpy as all get out? I have. Now, I've got my powdered sugar, got my pinch of salt. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of cinnamon in this. Now, I know I put apple pie spice in the biscuits, but I want a little bit of cinnamon, ramp up that cinnamon taste. And I'm going to put about 1/4 teaspoon. I don't want a whole lot, but I want just enough to know I've got something in there. So let's stir that in. And yeah, this smells good already. It smells so good already. Okay, so let's start mixing this up. I've got 1 tablespoon of melted butter. Y'all know I'm gonna do butter. We'll put butter in the rolls, and we're gonna put butter in here. I'm going to add just the tiniest bit of vanilla extract to this also. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon. Again, just to know we got a little something. And I've measured out 3 tablespoons of milk. Now, y'all know as well as I do, it don't take a whole lot of milk or whatever liquid you're using for the powdered sugar glaze. So we're going to start with just a little bit. Maybe about 2 tablespoons. Yeah, hey, I did good. And if we need to add more, we will. But again, it's like I told you with these biscuits, with the flour, if you get too much, just add a little bit more powdered sugar. And I'm going to use my whisk to mix this up because I want to try to get this as smooth as I can get it. Now, adding the cinnamon and the vanilla, change the color a little bit. It's not white, but you know, I don't care. I want to see those little specks of cinnamon in here, and I am. And yeah, I think I got the perfect consistency here. Watch how that drips. Now, I don't want it too thin because, again, I told you earlier, it'll just run off everywhere. And using my whisk, this has gotten so smooth. Looky there. Now, I can't wait to taste it. Look. Okay, so, I can't wait to eat one. Now, I am just going to use my little spatula here, and I am going to put, look, I just put a little bit on there. And I want to use all of this, and I'm going to come back if I have it left, And I'll just keep putting it on until I've used it all. Yeah, we had the perfect amount of glaze. That is the perfect amount. And some of it is kind of seeping off. It's seeping down in the cracks, you know, the rolls. Oh my goodness. Looky here. Let's try one. What do you say? I should have made some coffee. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be amazing? I can't wait. These are gonna be delicious. And I think when it comes to holiday time, well, even before, I think I'm gonna have these on my holiday table. Looky here. Oh my goodness. I wanna cut it in half and let's see the inside of this biscuit. Can you see that apple in there? Let's try it. Yeah, you've got to try this. Oh my goodness. Now, this is awesome. And you've got these little bits of apple all through it. You've got your biscuit. It's real light and fluffy, and that's why I like to add the yeast in there. It just makes it so light and fluffy. And then having that apple and those apple pie spices. If you want to add more than I did, you go right ahead. This is just the ratio that we like. And adding that glaze just topped it off with that little bit of cinnamon. If you love cinnamon, would love cinnamon, you can certainly add more. I think the quarter of a teaspoon was just a great amount. I might add a little bit more next time, but they're amazing just like they are. Anyway, I hope you will give this a try and let me know what you think about them. And if you do anything different, I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm so happy that you joined me today. Please like, share, subscribe to our videos, and don't forget, hit that little notification bell so you'll know when we post another video. And I just want to tell everybody, happy fall, y'all. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you soon.